SisterReach is one of the founding organizations that helped to start Black Mamas Matter Alliance. And so it was important to me because I am a Black mother. And in the midst of there being such an emphasis on abortion, there was no space for maternal health, maternal wellness, mamas, babies, raising our children, nurturing our families. And myself and several other amazing Black advocates came together because we wanted to see something more expansive, because we wanted there to be a focus on Black maternal health issues, and especially with the rate of Black women who were dying during childbirth, after childbirth. But there really wasn't any type of a national focus on it at all. So we wanted to shift that focus. And so, Black Mamas Matter Alliance came to be, and we continue to be a kindred partner of that work, because it's important. And and as someone who came into this movement because of trying to get an abortion, but having that baby, where there's been so much, emphasis on the experience that I had while trying to terminate it. Nobody's ever really asked me, what has it been to raise my child? And what needs potentially have I had? What needs, did my child have? You know what I'm saying? He's grown, but still, I've been in the movement a little over 20 years. And so he'll be 23 this year, right? And so in the total time I've been in this movement, there has never been an emphasis on him. And that's extremely problematic for me. I'm a part of the maternal health work because I'm a mom. And I think for me, it was also an opportunity to learn as much as it was to bring a lived experience to this kind of broader body of work that everybody is doing, and to make room and space. This is for me reclaiming what reproductive justice actually is fully about. Not just about termination, but about birth. Not just about birth, but about nurturing a family. Not just about nurturing a family, but nurturing that family in a safe and a sustainable community with the necessary social supports to live and thrive. And so, this is, so, that's what brings me to this work. That's what keeps me in this work. Just excited that SisterReach can continue to have our own role in what this looks like here in our state, across the region, and then nationally for folks who support our work on a national and even international level. Black Maternal Health Week is an initiative that BMMA created so that there wouldn't just be their own focus on Black maternal health, but a collective national focus on Black mamas and pregnant capable folks, the issues that made sense to the partnerships connected to the larger alliance, an opportunity for us to center and visibilize, amplify, empower those who had that lived experience, also to bring some very important and relevant attention to some of the disparities that Black pregnant capable folk are navigating, right? And and I'm super excited about it, right? Because everybody has their own spin, everybody has their own way, even with this effort that you guys are doing. Everybody has their kind of point of entry that they think is important to lift up. I think what's amazing is that all of the collective efforts are still centered on the need of any one individual, and all individuals at the same time, right? So I love this initiative, and we take great pride in being a part of it every year. I think that it is fully aligned. The environments in which we live, the water that we drink, the electricity that runs through our power grids, the toxins in our air, the condition of our country, the condition of our climate. All of that impacts the life, the health, the wellness of any individual. But since we're talking about Black women, and Black, pregnant, capable, or birthing people, making sure that it's not just about whether or not we have a great doctor, but what does it actually even look like for us to even access that doctor based on potentially where we live? Maybe we're in a rural community. Maybe we don't have access to a doula. Maybe we don't have access to a midwife. Maybe we only have access to the county hospital. I think environmental justice is even more broad, that is broader than just the environment itself, as far as like climate, right? But it is the cultural environment, the religious environment, the all of the aspects of what is navigated in order to live, right, to thrive. And so it's super important to me, and the environmental justice framework just, I think, neatly overlays and is a part of the reproductive and sexual justice framework, because the environments in which we live are directly connected to our ability to parent and not to parent often, right? Here in Memphis, we have a community that for years has been a dumping site for factories that have caused long-term cancer in the lives of people who live in this particular part of town. I think it's also important to lift up, when we think about maternal health and Black maternal health, even more specifically, this is, I think, one of the fights has always been that Black women haven't necessarily been considered worthy of being mamas, worthy of being parents. So if there is a kind of social consensus that we are dispensable, or that our bodies, our lives, our health doesn't matter, then you don't care that the 18-wheeler drives through my community, letting off toxic fumes, or the factory is, within walking distance of my house, or radiation towers, cell phone towers are in my community, or that you are dumping waste into my soil, that gets into my water, that gets into my body. I think one of the largest contraindications, or the largest contraindication to the health and wellness of mamas right through here, Black mamas in particular, is racism. Mm-hmm. That's something that we named, some years ago as the issue, the biggest issue that we are dealing with, mm-hmm. around Black maternal death, infant mortality. And so in a country that has prioritized resegregation, I won't necessarily say DEI. I will use terms as I have been learning and kind of evolving my understanding and analysis. With a country that is dedicated to resegregation, that means that this is a country that has also been dedicated to lower resources for Black people, or no resources for Black people, right? And so, the kind of cultural climate is directly connected to, is this focus on Black maternal health. And I think I just read something about the maternal morbidity piece, or the maternal health kind of component that Kamala Harris had focused on is now being dismantled, right? So it was created because there was no focus and emphasis on Black mamas. And the fact that many of us are, even before we get pregnant, are unhealthy, while we are pregnant are unhealthy, after we are pregnant are not only unhealthy, but then that also becomes, right, this kind of catalyst for death. So, if being a Black mama all of a sudden becomes a DEI issue to these fools, then what you're basically saying is you don't give a damn whether or not I live or die, because I am Black and I am. Because I am Black and I am a woman and I am a mom, or because I am Black and I am pregnant capable and I, and I'm a parent. So yeah, I think that I'm getting chills just thinking about the fact that, a labor force, Black mamas are the reason that this country is what it is today, and if we're not gonna take care of anybody in this country, we most definitely need to take care of Black women, Black mothers. We wouldn't have the country that we have without us. And so I think that also requires us to be a bit more bold and indignant around this thing. So SisterReach we're running a digital and billboard campaign. We're not necessarily doing an event per se, but we just finished a beautiful photo shoot over the weekend with a trans man who's a parent, a trans woman who's a parent, as well as cisgender Black women who are our parents or grandparents, wives, widows, the whole gambit. And the idea was, one, to create an opportunity for them to build community and just be loved on. Okay. Mm-hmm. If there's anything that I could say that folks can support us with is keep supporting us to keep loving on Black women and Black children and Black families. To keep supporting us to prioritize in a country that is on the other side of Roe v. Wade, an organization that is fully committed to supporting the folks who are now, living in a forced birth state and without any resources more than not, which is what we are doing. We have intentionally pivoted our work to meet the moment versus continuing to kind of focus on the things that we cannot control. We cannot control at this point that Tennessee is an anti-abortion state. We can control, whether or not we raise more money for our pantry to supply more food and clothing, toiletries, baby items, for parents. We can control, trying to secure a housing facility to support people who are navigating economic despair right now and trying to give folks a roof over their head with an emphasis on focusing on mamas, because that's what the emphasis is. It's really with an idea of supporting mamas. And so I hope that people will continue to support our work when we're not as loud about abortion and we become far more louder as we have been for quite some time, but even more so in the next 3 years and beyond. We will be extremely vocal about supporting Black mamas.